Greetings and welcome to Pickled Watermelon Rinds, a guilty pleasure podcast featuring Auntie Joan and Auntie providing our zesty and marginally mature take on current events, pop culture, and trends. Now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hello, Auntie Joan.
Hi, Auntie.
How are you today?
I'm tired.
Tired? What's tuckering you out?
I got those grandpups here.
That cutie patooties?
Yeah, Theo and Ophelia.
Aww.
Okay, so I know most of you people, when you become of a certain age, you never get to sleep through the night because you got to get up and, make trips to the toilet or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had that problem. I can sleep all through the night.
Mm-hmm.
Well, those days are over while Theo and Ophelia are here. Yeah, they the first morning they were here, they got me up at 7:30.
Oh, boy.
So I only had a couple hours of sleep. Yeah, so fortunately by the afternoon, we were all ready for a nap. I was able to catch up on some sleep.
Good.
But I'm telling you, these kids, they're really good. They're really good pups.
Yes.
I don't know where they are right now. They never bark. They're just, they're really good. But oh my gosh, I love to watch them running through the backyard, chasing each other. And then they'll go from one side to the other and they'll both like drop down to the ground and stare at each other. You could see they're getting ready to attack, and then they're off again. So
very cute.
Yeah, they're just so cute. And they both sleep with me.
Oh.
Theo's up by the head. He's got his little spot.
Mm-hmm.
And Ophelia lays down towards the foot. But however, she's the one that usually gets up. And she's not just a licker or a cuddler. She likes to dig. So she keeps, grabbing my arm and stuff like that. Like, get up, you old lady. It's time to let me out. But they're really good.
Aww.
So, yeah, it's nice having them here. And I'm going to set their pool up either today or tomorrow. And
so it's their pool. That's what you've decided?
Well, no, I didn't. I didn't mean that. It's a communal pool.
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, it'll be theirs while they're here. If I get other visitors, of course, it'll become his.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They're not into, at least here, they're not into running and fetching and stuff like that. They'll go maybe once or twice and bring the ball back, and then they're done.
Gotcha.
So they kind of fit in with my lifestyle. Good little boy and girl.
Beautiful angels.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and also I had lunch with Superfan Sandy B.
Superfan Sandy B. Sandy B.
Yes. And she broke her record.
What does that mean?
She listened to 3 in a row of our shows. Well, she's been busy. They went on vacation and stuff, so she actually listened to 6 shows.
Back to back?
Back to back.
Wowzers. She had a lot of puzzling to do.
I guess so. So all you people out there, you got no excuse not to listen.
That's right.
Yeah, you got no excuse not to listen. Anyway, yeah. And then Theo and Ophelia's mom, she likes to listen to us to go to sleep at night. That's when I listen to my murder mysteries. So we're in good company, Auntie.
There you go. Perfect.
So that's my excitement.
Very cool.
Oh. And the local farm stand with that fantabulous corn is open now. So I'm going to have to get my arse down there and start getting some. And my Palisade peaches are coming August 3rd.
Very nice.
So I'm looking forward to those. They are the best.
Nice. You get those from a Rotary Club, yeah?
Yeah, the Niwot Rotary Club. And I'm putting some aside for Auntie.
Thank you, Auntie Joan.
And Ruth and Otto, they'll get some too. Yeah. Maybe I'll even give Superfan Sandy B a couple.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Yeah. So that's it.
I have to tell you that I tried your peanut butter, lettuce, and tomato sandwich
Oh, yeah?
today, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah?
Not for me. I thought I would really like it, but it was, I mean, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't.
Maybe you
Sorry.
didn't use the peanut butter that we used to use, the cheap,
Skippy.
grocery store. Yeah.
No, I don't use that. Not, I love Skippy. Don't get me wrong, but I don't eat peanut butter very often, so I buy the powdered stuff because it doesn't go bad, and I reconstitute it. PB, I forget what it's called. And it just has a better shelf life. It's not a Skippy, let's put it that way. I mean, it has a peanut butter. It's peanut butter. It's just dehydrated peanut butter.
Yeah.
Basically.
See, I would have pictured you going to Whole Foods, getting whole peanuts and having them freshly ground and making your own peanut butter.
I have bought that before. Well, using the grinders right there at Whole Foods. I have done that before, but no, I don't do that anymore. Actually, I don't even remember the last time I bought something like that, to be quite frank. Oh, it was before COVID, because all the machines shut down at COVID.
They did?
For a while. At least, definitely in the co-op up in Netherlands, they weren't using the machine during the COVID. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, and Whole Foods, they stopped all of their bulk stuff, everything during COVID. So all the things were empty. And I just never went back to it. And like I said, now I just buy the powdered peanut butter. I mean, if I was doing something really specific with peanut butter that the peanut butter flavor needed to come out the most, I'd buy something, go there, because then I could just get as much as I need. And I don't have to buy a whole jar of it, and then just use the powdered stuff for myself.
Well, all those yuppies and stuff, they go into places like Whole Foods and they just pick. They just graze as they go through. They'll take something here and take a grape there and stuff like that. They don't even, I used to see that all the time. Gross me out. So that's probably why they closed down the bulk stuff.
Germs.
People keeping their filthy hands out of it.
All the germs. Yeah. Did go to the county fair on Sunday because I wanted to see the dog talent show.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
Why?
I don't know.
They say?
Nobody came to talk to us. Nobody came to tell us if it was just running late. Nobody came in the barn. People were there. We were all sitting in the chairs. There's probably about a good 30 of us waiting for the dog talent show. I hung in there until about 20 after 11, and I was like, I'm out. Not a single person has come in to give us any indication that this is happening or not. And I'm like, I got to go. I did watch the redneck relay for a little bit because I got there early. That was going on just before, like 10:30 or whatever it started. So I was like, oh, I'll watch this for a little bit and then I'll go. It was too long. The obstacle course was way too long. It was boring. They didn't play music while these guys were doing their thing. They didn't, it was nothing. Supposedly the best night was Friday night at the fair, which I never had any intention of going on a Friday night. But the most crowded, big crowd and all that. And then Saturday was good crowd, from what I understand. And Sunday, and I didn't go on Saturday because they had a dog agility, which I would like to have seen, but I really want to see the dog talent show more. But it was threatening weather all day. It never happened. We got no bad weather whatsoever. But I'm like, I'm not going to go all the way over there for it to start raining for me to turn around and leave. No. I ended up waiting till Sunday, which was, again, the day that I really wanted to see, which was the dog talent show, and it never happened. Or at least didn't happen by 20 after 11. Gave them 20 minutes to come and tell us something. There were workers that came to the back of the barn, saw us all sitting there. Not a single one came and said, oh my God, let me go get so-and-so, and they'll give you an update as to what's going on. Maybe people didn't sign up for it. Maybe it actually happened later than I was willing to stay. I don't know, but I was like, I'm out. So I left. I mean, it's 5 minutes from where I live, so it's not a big deal. It wasn't like I can only imagine if somebody drove like an hour to come to that thing, specifically if they wanted to see that event. I don't know what happened there. I have seen nothing about it on like Nextdoor or Facebook or anything. So nobody commented.
Did you go to the fair's website or?
No, because it's not what you think it would be.
Well, it is county. It's not like it's Boulder County.
So they wouldn't have any information like that, So anyway, I would probably go to the fair. This is the first time I've ever been to the fair. There's just been reasons every summer since I've lived over here that I couldn't go. I would go again, but I may try and go on a Saturday because it seems like that was the most hopping day because it was definitely sparse. when I was there. Not vendor wise, everybody was there, but people, just
Mm.
coming through the fair. And I was only there from like 10:30 till almost 11:30, and that was it. And I left. So maybe in the afternoon it picked up again. I don't know. So that was a bit of a miss. I did get a t-shirt because I just liked it. So I did buy something while I was there.
Well, that's good. You found something to spend your money on.
Yeah, I figured it's a nice t-shirt. It was soft. Very
Didn't they
soft.
have any wine or beer or anything
They
there
did,
for
but
you
this
to
is
drink?
early still. They were still
And
setting they were still setting up. They
oh,
weren't
oh,
serving it yet. You know.
oh, they weren't serving it yet.
Mm-mm. So,
Hmm.
which is fine. I drank my fill the night before. Went over a friend's house and drank
Hmm.
there instead. So I was not interested in alcohol while I was there.
A little hair from the dog.
No, none of that. And then I met Auntie Joan at the vegan night down in Boulder at the Rayback Collective. It was average. Glad I went to the one in Boulder and not trucked all the way down to Denver for that. It's this a group. They have something called Veg Fest every year, which I think is this upcoming weekend down in Denver, which is
Hmm.
why I went to their website in the first place. And then they said, we don't only just do Veg Fest, we do other events. And I was like, what events? And that's where they have vegan nights at some of, local brewery or something. I was going to truck all the way down to Denver. And then I saw the next week they were coming to Boulder. And I said, oh, better. That's closer. And I know Boulder. I'd rather go there. So then I told Antie Joan, and she met me there, and they just had vegan food trucks, but they had regular food there too for non-vegans.
Well, they only had like three food trucks, right?
3 food trucks, but they
Yeah.
also had 2 tables of food too. So,
Oh, the desserts.
well, the empanadas was just a table. That wasn't a food truck.
Oh, oh.
The ice cream was a food truck. The
I still
international
can't.
thing.
I still can't get over how expensive that
Oh,
ice cream
and
was.
it wasn't good.
Yeah.
It had
Yeah.
zero flavor. I was so excited because it was something not just, like a vanilla or a chocolate or a sorbet. For God, shoot me with sorbets. I'm so tired of those. But it actually had Rocky Road, or they called it something else, but with the Rocky Road stuff in it. And that's the one I ended up getting. And it literally, the only flavor came from the nuts that were in it. I can't even describe it. And it was chocolate base, or supposed to be chocolate based, but it had absolutely no flavor. I would
Hmm.
never buy that again. Never, never, never.
Hmm.
They had at County Fair, they had a food truck that also was serving ice cream. They did have non-dairy options. I remembered from the Rayback Collective, and you're not getting me twice. And I did not buy any. Well, it was
But
early too.
you get the dairy-free dilly bars from Dairy Queen.
Oh, those are delicious.
Wonder what the difference is. I mean, why how Dairy Queen can make them taste good and
Well, the exterior is what makes the Dairy Cream ones taste good. It's because of the candy. It's the chocolate coating on the, which is vegan, but still the interior, the ice cream is, if it was just the ice cream on a stick, it would be
yeah,
average.
yeah,
It
yeah,
would be
yeah.
average. It's the chocolate that helps that for sure. But I've made my own ice cream in the past, and I'd rather just do that. Or like So Delicious, from the grocery store, you can get So Delicious,
Mm.
which is soy based. You can get Oatly, which is oat milk based. There's a bunch of non-dairy. Even Ben and Jerry's has non-dairy versions. You know what I mean? Which are all good. So it's like, yeah, I don't need to do these food truck
See,
ice cream trucks again.
I've kind of lost my taste for ice cream. It's interesting because for years I'd have to have some ice cream
Oh,
every night.
oh.
And now it doesn't really interest me. I mean, I'll have the dilly bar. When Sandy B and I go for lunch, we always stop at the Dairy Queen afterwards and have something. But
And when we go
yeah,
to
just
bingo,
and when we go to bingo, right?
sheesh,
Well, it's been a while, so
sheesh.
I
Well, because you don't
forgot.
ever want to go.
Well,
Oh. Can't win if we don't
it's
play, Auntie Joan. Can't win if we don't play.
all right. We'll play. You know that cauliflower that what was the Korean cauliflower that we got. I mean, it was okay. It was a little tangy, but it would have been much better if they had a little even brown rice or something with it. Just putting it in a paper tray thing and saying, "Here you go." I just it would have been a nice to have a little something with it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I
in my
think they
humble
had
opinion.
sides of French fries you could have gotten, but not. I didn't see rice as an option, if I recall. And gochujang was the sauce it was in, which is a spicy sauce.
And it was very spicy, but it was tolerable. I mean,
Yes,
you know, it wasn't,
I
you
really
know.
liked. I really liked the flavor of the cauliflower, and I ended up getting dolmas as well, which I hadn't had in years. As stuffed
Oh
grape
yeah,
leaves.
yeah.
I liked them, but I didn't know they were going to give us six of them for how expensive everything was. I thought there'd be
Uh-huh,
three,
uh-huh.
and they gave us six. I'm like, well, I don't eat all these.
Yeah, Auntie's making her made her down payment for Killian's boarding next month.
Yes.
She treated she treated me.
Yes. Although I did really like the vanilla beer I had. Vanilla cream beer.
Oh,
That was
oh,
delicious. That was
yeah.
quite good. But that was the best part of the meal in my opinion. And then the cauliflower would be next, and then probably spring rolls, and then the
Yeah, the
dolmas.
spring rolls I thought were good.
But it was a weird. That was a weird food truck item. Like it was Asian mixed with Greek mixed with. It was called internet. I think it was something. The truck was international
Yeah, oh,
something or
yeah,
other.
yeah,
It was a
yeah.
weird concoction of food items to choose from. They also had a Cuban food one, which apparently had a food truck, separate food truck that had some vegan options, but that was mostly non-vegan stuff. We didn't try that. Or the other dessert. There was a dessert table that, in hindsight, rather than getting the stupid ice cream, I should have got
Yeah,
something from the dessert table instead.
yeah.
But oh well,
Well, you live and
you
learn.
live and learn. But I'd go back for that vanilla cream beer any day. That was
Did you
delicious.
get the name of it?
No, I did not.
Hmm.
Oh, and they didn't have soda for Auntie Joan. They had no soda, which is interesting because it's a full bar. And I don't understand
Yeah.
how there was no soda there. So if you have a mixed drink that requires soda, what the hell do they use?
Oh, you know what? I wonder if it's the fat tax that they don't want to have to deal with that. You know, because of the soft drink tax that they add on because of sugar and stuff.
Never heard of
Maybe
it.
that's got something to do with it.
Oh, don't know.
Mhm. Mhm.
Don't know. Killian's
Oh,
barking for
because
some
you know
reason.
Boulder's so healthy.
Can you hear
You
Killian?
know. Uh-uh.
Yeah, he's barking. Hang
Yeah.
on, I gotta go see what he's barking at. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It was a dog.
A dog.
Yeah. I mean, up near the end of my driveway to the road.
Oh,
But,
just
and of
passing
course, I didn't
through.
bring my stupid phone downstairs to take a picture, post it on Nextdoor saying, if anybody's missing a dog. I didn't see a
Mm.
human with her because she squatted. That's why Killian was so excited. Thought he had a girl come over and see him. But I have never
Mhm.
heard of
Mhm.
that.
The fat
The
tax.
fat tax.
Yeah, it was quite controversial.
Just on soda?
Uh-huh. Soft drinks.
Soft
Yep. Yep.
drinks?
The sugar. Yep. Yep.
Oh, hadn't heard of that.
They're trying to do it other places too. I think California might have some places that do that. And yeah,
Well, now.
I'll look it up for you and send you the info.
Thanks, Auntie Joan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then we wanted to have a little discussion item for today. There was a post on the B-sides on the Facebook, and it was the truth. I'm going to read it verbatim, and then
Thank
we're going to
you.
discuss.
Talk amongst
This
yourselves.
was posted on June 20th on the B sides. B is in boys sides. It has a picture of an elderly woman sitting there looking like she's contemplating. I think she's looking out the window personally. But
Kind of
anywho,
looks like it.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the caption says, the truth is that all of the stuff, in quotes, here on earth we work so hard to buy and accumulate does not mean a thing.
Amen.
At the end of the day, people will be cleaning out our stuff, in quotes,
Mm-hmm.
going through our stuff, in quotes,
Quotes.
figuring out what to do with all of our stuff, in quotes. This stuff, in quotes, we've accumulated in our life. The only thing of value that remains are the memories and what we deposit into others. May we all learn to spend less time accumulating stuff, in quotes, and spend way more time making memories. Thoughts, Auntie Joan?
Were you thinking of me when you read this?
A little.
You're laughing.
A little. My mother.
Oh,
No, and I do think of people who have to have name brand things and that kind of
yes.
stuff, which
The
it
biggest house and yeah,
doesn't matter.
the best
It
clothes and
doesn't matter. None of it
this is
matters.
this is absolutely true. Yes, I am guilty of accumulating quote stuff, all caps, unquote. And I keep telling myself, I really need to start going through this stuff and clear it out because I mean, I'm on the downhill side.
Oh, stop now.
And no, I mean, I'm 75 years old.
You're
So,
middle-aged.
right. Like like I'm going to live to be 150. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I don't want to.
No, I know.
But I think about Auntie Mary and Auntie, who will probably end up having to go through all my crap. And if you could see behind me the IKEA shelving unit that I have with crap just thrown in there and on top, and that's just not even what you can see on the floor, in the basement, all the fabric I had to have because I was going to make a quilt with it someday. And I've already given away tons of that fabric.
Oh, I saw another thing on Facebook. I was going to send it to you, but I didn't want to.
Yeah, insult me.
Yeah. I didn't realize that buying things for my crafting hobby was a hobby unto itself.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. That's so true. It's so true. And any quilter out there, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do have another Sandy friend who would buy fabric when we would go together to these quilt shops and stuff, like the Christmas in July sales that they would have. I would come out with 2 big bags full of things, and she'd have bought what they call fat quarters, which are quarter of a yards. So she'd get a couple of those, and she would inevitably end up using them. And she complained about having too much. Anyway,
Yeah.
I mean, I've stopped collecting. I've stopped buying a lot of stuff. One of my faults here, one of many, is that I found the online auction sites in the area. And that's kind of opened my eyes up to why are you holding on to things? I just saw one yesterday. You know, those beautiful china cabinets that people would spend thousands of dollars on, to put their chinas and their crystal and stuff in. They had one there. It was closing in 5 hours. It was Ethan Allen. So, it was high quality. Zero bids.
People aren't buying that kind of
Nope.
stuff anymore.
Nope.
I mean, I bought my own china because I never got married. So I bought my own stuff and it was good, but I mean, certainly wasn't super high end. I still have it and I break it out when I have true dinner parties or something to that respect. When I used to host the holidays at my house and stuff like that. But honestly, mostly it sits in a cabinet and it's just, I barely ever break that stuff out. The reason why I like mine a lot is because it was dishwasher safe. That was a non-negotiable.
Oh, yes.
Non-negotiable. Yes. Had to be. I'm not going to wash those goddamn dishes.
China never impressed me. I never even wanted to buy China.
Now, I mean, certainly as we're older, I do think about a lot the whole, do I need this or do I want this? And if you want this, why do you want this? How often are you going to use it? Is it worth the money that's being spent on it? It's not to say you can't buy things that you want. You need to kind of do a balance there, but the bulk of your spending should be on things you need. And the other stuff is just nice to have, but as this little post points out, somebody's just going to get rid of it after you're gone.
Well, at least you're making memories.
I am. I definitely am making an effort to travel and get together and try different things. There's actually a play coming up in Lakewood that I'm thinking I might go to in August, but I'm going to go down to the box office and buy the tickets instead of spending the additional $4 to buy it online. I'll just, if I'm down in the area.
What play is it?
You'd think I'd remember that. But I'm like, the downside is, of course, when I would really want to go is during a matinee during the week.
Yes.
And there is one, but guess when it is? Thursdays at 2.
Oh.
And I'm like, Like, couldn't be on Wednesdays. Couldn't be on Wednesdays. So I may break down and go on a Sunday at 2. I figured it'd probably be a little bit less crowded on a Sunday. I figure it's only running for a few weeks. It sounded like it was going to be funny. Oh, I think it's called Till Death Do Us Part, You First. Something like that. I think that's what it's called. So I was like, oh, I want to see that. I think that'll be fun. So, and I haven't been to a play in a really long time. But anyway, those are the kinds of things I'm more interested in doing these days versus buying shit.
Well, traveling is too much of an effort for me anymore with my oxygen and my CPAP and who knows what else I have to haul around. I'm fortunate that I don't have to go in for dialysis every week. So I count my blessings there. But it's just
every
too much
week.
of a pain.
That's 3 times a week.
Is it? Well, yeah.
Yes, it is. It is not just an every week thing. It is very intrusive to your lifestyle. And it's for hours, 4 to 5 hours, a chunk, 3 times a week. My mother had to do that for.
Yeah, I remember.
But still, it's no joke. So the next time you're thinking of buying something, folks, just keep this little B-sides post in mind and really think about whether you need it or you really want it.
Well, for some of us old ones who have already outdone ourselves with this stuff, it might be a good idea to kind of take all that seriously and start getting rid of our stuff.
Yep. You can do the auction thing like Auntie Joan looks at. No. If that's what you want to do. You can bring it to any one of the donation centers. You can try selling it on Marketplace. You can have a little yard sale for yourself if that's what you want to do. There's lots of ways that you can help thin out the clutter of purchases made from the past.
Yeah.
My parents did not do this, and it took me a month to basically clean out their house. Yeah. And it's no joke. It's a lot. And that's the last thing you want to be doing during that time as well.
That's true.
So really, really think about it, folks.
Okay. Yeah, you were going to come down and help me with the back porch. Whatever happened to that?
Every time I asked you, you said, no, let's do it another time.
Too hot. Or let's wait for it to warm up a little bit. It's too cold. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I am good at procrastinating.
So I'm ready whenever you are. You tell me when, but I'm not asking anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't realize that's okay. Yeah. I will. Welcome back.
Welcome back, Auntie Joni.
Yeah. What you been watching?
We are going to talk about Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult. So, it's about this talent guy who's also a preacher, or I guess he started as a preacher and turned into a talent guy. I don't know. And he is basically running a cult, though he doesn't think he's running a cult, but between the sexual stuff that's happening inside the cult with these young people, all of age, but still in their 20s, late teens, 20s, and the things he has them do and say and act and alienates them from their families and all that wonderful stuff. He really started honing in on the TikTok generation of the people who would be doing some dancing things, getting them under his wing and making them money. Well, making money, I guess I should say. Them, not so much.
Yes.
Because the money went to the 7M agency, and they would get a stipend, which would basically be like $20 a week or something ridiculous. I'm making that up because I don't remember off the top of my head.
I think it was 40. I think it came out to $40 a week. Yeah.
But these people were these young people were making hundreds of thousands of dollars for this company, if not millions, and they were seeing a very small fraction of it. And he really knew how to get into their heads. It's still operating from what I understand.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's officially that those kids that stuck around, you don't see them being represented by him, like officially. I don't know how they're getting around it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a very sad thing. I mean, cults in general are sad, but this one just preying on the younger folks is just, and they try, families try and get their kids back and they won't have anything to do with their families, or they'll make concessions where they'll see the family, but you can't talk anything about the 7M agency in any way. So, and that's how the cult leader is kind of holding them all hostage, is basically, I need you to go be with your family. So basically they stop harassing the agency about getting their children out. But you have to make a stipulation that if you want to see me, the younger person, if you want to see me, you cannot talk about the agency at all to me. And of course the parents want to see their kids, but at the same time, they really want to get them out of there by telling them that it's a cult you're in and all that. And if they bring up the cult at all, the kids will not see them anymore. It's just terrible. This guy is a total asshole, and it just makes me sick. And the sexual escapades that were going on with the female kids, for lack of a better term. I mean, they're not kids, but they might as well. To me, they are.
They're kids, yeah.
To me, they are. But in their 20s, that he's having sexual relations with these young women. It's just disgusting.
Not all of them. Not
everyone, no, but it's multiples. It's not one either.
Yeah.
But it's just disgusting. And let's get through the disgusting part of it before I rip apart something else about this little docuseries.
Well, I have my own take on it.
Okay.
It kind of reminded me of the docuseries about the Nexium cult.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yep.
Yes.
I do.
The people were good looking, affluent. Well, at least the girls were in this show. Affluent. They come from an affluent background. The series, the videos that they did were so glossy, so set up, so overly exuberant. It turned me off. That when they started, I rewatched it to prepare for this today. When they started the first scene that they show, maybe it's not the first, but anyway, of the two sisters, when they were just starting out as influencers or whatever, I couldn't take it. I mean, it was so phony. It was so, okay, I think this is a whole generational thing. Probably young people today are so used to it that it sells. It's what sells. It gets people hooked because they're cheerful and laughing and they look right at the camera. And it's not real to me. To me, it just comes across as really fake. I've had a problem with fake my whole life. So anyway, I find it difficult to feel sorry. It's terrible. I find it difficult to feel sorry for the parents. I imagine it's very difficult to birth a child and to have them detach from you like that and not speak to them as often as they did. I spoke to my folks maybe once a week, maybe once every other week. I didn't call them every day. I can't criticize them for being too close. What's too close? However, when the grandfather died, and what's her name, Melinda or something like that, Melanie, something like that.
Miranda is the one that's in the cult.
Miranda.
Melanie is the other sister.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Miranda. She was living in LA and she said she couldn't make it back for the funeral. Everything. I mean, the parents just threw up their arms. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? How could she not come back? They get on a plane. They fly from Michigan to LA to try to talk her into going back for the funeral. Who does that? I mean, come on. Yeah, it's a shame she couldn't make it back. She wouldn't make it back. But at some point, I think you got to let the kids go and make their own decisions on what they're going to do. Granted, you want to protect them from being taken advantage of, but I don't know.
I think it was so far out of her character that's why they went so extreme to go out and fly and see, because clearly she's definitely in a cult. That is 100% accurate.
Yes.
So there's more compounding this than just somebody who moved out to California on their own and now they're not coming back for something because of work-related things. This is different. So I think that was all just compounding. I think the early videos of the two young sisters, Melanie and Miranda, why their parents were okay with them doing these TikTok videos from the beginning is questionable. Not that they did anything perverse or anything that was overly sexual or anything like that. It's just, I think people get caught up in the fame thing and the likes and getting their names out there and sponsorships and money's coming in now and they get lost in it. And it's like, but there's a price to be paid for all of that. What happens when they start losing followers? What happens as they start to grow up and, move on to other things? Exploiting the younger people on these platforms, I think is just awful. I very rarely, yes, I go out into the Instagram and to the Facebook, mostly because of the podcast. But hey, I've got the account, so I do go peruse every now and again, but I rarely watch anybody who's young. It is all people my age, because that's the funny stuff for me. Like they'll talk about, growing up in the 80s or drinking a big old Aperol Spritz out of these ginormous glasses. I find that funny. Stuff like that, because it's clearly not real. They're not really doing that, but it's just comical.
Really?
No. The ice would make it too watered down. That would be disgusting. So, no. I wouldn't drink it, I'll tell you that. The fact that parents have let children or young adults just make these videos to begin with, because I think they started when they were young, right?
Yeah, and I'm not sure when they actually started, like the TikTok presence, that the videos that showed him dancing with the family and stuff. I don't know if that went on the internet or not.
Right, probably. I would hope not, videos. But who knows?
But yeah, feeding the beast, feeding the famous beast.
Yeah.
Wanting to be famous.
Exactly.
And,
and
not get a real job.
That's right. And Melanie. So here's where I had a real problem with this documentary or docuseries is I think the only reason Melanie did this documentary was to get her another 15 minutes of fame. Because
I think you might be right.
That woman, she's a woman now, the amount of times that they showed her dancing, I'm like, enough. This isn't about you. Like, all she wanted to do is bring the attention back to her. So in between when they're talking about the cult or, and her sister being, in this cult and all that, they showed videos of Melanie dancing. And I'm like, how is this relevant to the story? I get that you guys started out dancing together, her, Melanie and Miranda as sisters dancing and doing their TikTok videos and all that horse shit. But now's not the time for Melanie to be showing off her massive dance skills as we're talking about her sister being held hostage in her own mind to this cult. Because clearly people can leave the cult. Miranda has chosen not to do that. So she hasn't gotten to the same point as other people. Because other people have left the cults. This particular cult.
Many did.
And doesn't sound like this guy does anything to barricade the doors. So it's not like she couldn't get out. She is very brainwashed at this point for sure. But others have had the epiphany after years of being there. It's not even like they walked in and were like, shit, this is a cult, I'm out. They were there for a long time and came to the realization that this is a cult and this is not good. This is not healthy. We need to go.
And I think that was the money aspect of it too.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because they were seeing they had 10% tithing and then 10% church and then 10% to your mentor.
Which all just went to the agency. I mean, they had it broken down into different categories, but it was all to the guy. It was all to the leader of the cult in the end. So I just feel like, but Melanie just seemed like she was exploiting the situation to her advantage. To see if she could get recognized, to see if she could get more fame.
And the parents jumping in, and I don't know. I think it was all kind of, And then there were the two Korean women, the sisters also.
Yes.
And that was another thing that really got to me because there's one that got out a long time ago.
Yes.
And then her sister ended up, she was living in that room for 10 years.
Yes. And
just to be she was like a sex slave, basically.
Correct.
And they're sitting, the two sisters, they both are out now.
Correct.
One of them had I don't know how long the younger one had been out. They're sitting and having lunch or something. And the one sister who'd been out for a while said she was upset because the other sister had said that she was going to maybe get to her place early and help set up for her daughter's birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
And the younger one did not show up early. She got there late. So the older sister's complaining because when she finally did get there, she did not say, "Oh, I'm late. I'm sorry. This happened and that happened." And the woman who had been held hostage basically for all that time, she seemed to have more on the ball than the other one. She said, "Look, I've got other things going on in my mind. This is not about you. It's about what I'm going through right now." And the other one says, "Yes, but it was my daughter's birthday."
Mm-hmm. Still
And the
selfish.
other one says, "Yeah, I felt like I could either be on time or I could kill myself. Which would you prefer?"
Right.
I mean,
I think her
basically,
answer
that's,
was great.
oh, I did too.
I was
I did
totally
too.
in her court on that one.
Yeah, and I just can't understand. I mean, there's it's like the people who are outside of it or have been outside of it just have no, I don't know, no understanding, no sympathy. It's how they should get out, get right, and
Right.
do what we want you to do, basically. I mean, how's that any different than being in a cult? You know?
Right. And I think
So
the first sister who got out because she was being called or whatever to his bedroom or whatever the hell it was.
yeah,
And
yeah.
she's like, "Oh no, I'm getting the hell out of here." And
Yeah, because he wanted her to do it with another member.
right. And she tried to get her sister to leave with her at that
Yep,
point,
yep, yep.
but her sister stayed and
Mhm,
then
mhm.
became basically the guy's sex slave. So I
Mhm.
don't think the first sister, experienced a level of trauma that the other sister who
Right.
stayed for so long, 10 years
Yeah.
plus or whatever, 20 years, whatever it was. It was crazy. It was a crazy amount of time. I remember that.
Altogether, it was 23 years she was in
That's
that thing,
just
she said. Yeah. Uh-huh,
unbelievable.
uh-huh.
And then he went on oh no, his wife in quotes or main woman or whatever went ballistic on
Yeah.
that poor woman who'd been the sex slave for 10 plus years or however long. And that's when she finally came to the epiphany that she was beaten up basically.
Mhm, mhm.
And that's when she finally said, "I got to get the hell out of here."
Yeah.
And she's suing and all that wonderful stuff, as she should, in my opinion. But this guy should
Mhm,
be
mhm.
behind bars. But because of how he broke out the costs, or the
Yeah.
revenue, it's harder to pin him down as a cult and taking the money from people because cults are religious freedom. Sadly, you got to be careful with the law enforcement needs to, have a
Mhm, mhm.
rock solid case on that kind of stuff, like they had on Nexium. I think her response to her sister was dead on. I think her sister got it. I think she needed that blunt response for it to actually sink in. Like, yeah, you got out before you were sexually abused.
Mhm,
I was
mhm, mhm.
sexually abused for years upon years upon
Mhm,
years.
mhm.
And you think that my big thing is to get to your house to help you set up for your kid's birthday? No,
Yeah.
I'm on the
Yeah.
verge every day. I'm battling whether to kill myself or
Yeah.
not. And
Yeah.
you think
Yeah.
this is a high priority for me? No, that response was, I think it woke up the other sister and was like, "Oh, yeah, we definitely had different experiences while we were inside that
Mhm,
cult."
mhm, mhm.
So for me, the Melanie thing was the big, "Are you freaking kidding me?" Like she just was looking for additional fame. I feel for the young adults who are in that cult and are still there. I don't know how someone gets wrapped up into that kind of crap. I'm just such a realist, common sense, my feet firmly on the ground person. So it's hard for me to grasp how somebody could get involved into any cult, not just that one, any cult, to be honest
Mhm.
with you. I will never forget when I first moved out to Colorado, my grandmother, my father's mother, she flat out said, she's like, "Don't you join a cult while you're out there." And I was like, "Have we met?" Like, of course I'm not going to join a cult while I'm out here. You know what I mean? She never explained herself. She never went into any details. I don't know what she read. I don't know where that even came from, but she absolutely told me, "Don't you join a cult while you're out there." And I said,
Well,
"Don't
I
you
think
worry."
Colorado in the 70s kind of had a
Did
reputation
they?
for hippies and
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
stuff like that. Yeah.
I thought it was
Yeah.
funny. I mean, I think back on it now and I still laugh, but it's just my personality
I
is the
couldn't find when
antithesis.
that would have me. So anytime either with someone, dating someone, friends with someone, church you're going to, anytime they separate you from your
Yes.
family, I mean, that's a pretty good indicator that
That's a
something
red
ain't right.
flag. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think,
But
but
now,
they do it so systematically. These cult leaders have a good understanding of the human psyche and
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
know how to play to it. I mean, I don't fault the people who get into the cults. They are coerced. It's not, they just wake up one day and say, I want to be in a cult today. I don't know how you prevent it.
I can understand people being vulnerable, like they had gone to LA. They were in
Yep.
a new place. She hooks up with this guy that she had looked up to as a dancer, and he's looking for church, and she kind of gets wrapped up with him and the whole church thing that he's going to, which is this Robert Shin or whatever his name is, and it just kind of takes over. I remember in my 40s wanting to, I don't know, I started doing this questioning about spiritual things and stuff like that. And I just think I was just too questioning to really buy into a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think I lacked trust.
Oh, I definitely do.
Yeah.
Trust is a really hard one for me,
Yeah.
actually.
I will admit to having watched some of those TikTok videos. They came up on my Facebook Reels things. Those would come up periodically.
Well, you
I
like
mean,
dancing.
I do. I do.
Yeah.
Some of them were quite good.
Mhm.
They just showed it so much in that docuseries that I just got sick of looking at it.
Yeah.
But some of them were pretty gosh darn. And the quality of it was so good. The high quality, it wasn't like holding up your iPhone. I mean, they had real video stuff going on there.
Mhm.
So
Yep. Crazy. If you haven't seen it, folks, I believe it was on the Netflix, if I recall correctly.
yes.
It's worth a watch, but do note that, I mean, just like with every docuseries, they have so much filler crap in there. It's like, just get to the point. Tell me where they are. Tell me what's going on. Is the guy still operating this stupid 7M agency? Is he behind bars at this point? Like, is there an active investigation going on? Blah, blah. That's the kind of shit I want to know. And I got to go through multiple episodes to get there. I'm watching this tart dance around trying to get her 15 minutes of fame back. And that doesn't interest me. But like I said, it's with every docuseries I've ever watched. I'm always like, just get to the point.
And it's Dancing for the Devil. How did they get so many followers? If we could just get,
We don't dance.
well, maybe we should
The
start.
hells no. I think people would be running away from our videos if that were the case.
You don't know. There's that lady I showed you about. She gets on her treadmill or threadmill, as some people call them, and walks to. Didn't you see those videos? I know I've sent you other ones of her, but yeah, she'll put on some awesome music, and you just see her walking to it and her facial expressions and stuff like that. But I don't have a threadmill, so. Welcome back.
Welcome to the back. Now we are on to the part of our program where we discuss commercials we have to talk about. And Auntie Joan's got a good one. I'm excited. What you got, Auntie Joan?
We're coming to America. I know it's not the song in the commercial, but
you just really like that song?
Well, you kind of get that feeling.
Oh, you do.
It's for Volkswagen,
Mm-hmm.
and it features Neil Diamond and his song, I Am, I Said.
Mm-hmm. Great song.
This thing gave me goosebumps.
Oh.
It just showing some of the old clips from when Volkswagens were such a big deal. I mean, yeah, I'm not a big deal, but they were a part of Americans' life,
Specifically Volkswagen Bugs.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, and then in the 60s and
The bus.
70s, the bus. The
Yes.
bus was a big one.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and then in the 90s, let's not forget the Thing.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh, okay. So when they show some of these clips from back in the day, that it just brings back so many memories. And of course, some of the Neil Diamond songs just really, I mean, it's a perfect song for it.
Mm-hmm.
Really grabs you.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Super Sunbug, a 1974 Super Sunbug. It was not the first year the Super Beatles came out, but I don't know, maybe the second or third year. And I had a little sunroof and it was gold and oh, it was wonderful. I drove that from New York to Colorado
Ah,
with my Afghan hound in the car with me.
and a
How about
flower
that?
in the little flower holder.
Well, it didn't come with it. I did try to
I thought they all
put one
did.
in. No, no. Mm-mm.
Oh.
But one thing I would do because I was living up by Brewster, New York, and I worked in White Plains,
Mm-hmm.
and I would I was working second shift in the computer room, and I would take a shower, put the rollers in my hair,
Mm-hmm.
get dressed, open up the sunroof, and drive down to work. It was like a 40-minute drive or something. By the time I got to work, I'm pulling the curlers out of my hair, brushing it out, and it's done.
Nice.
So, yeah, that was one of my fond memories of the Volkswagen Super Beetle.
What made
Seeing
it a
some of
super beetle?
it was a Super Beetle.
No, what made it a super beetle?
The windshield curved out. The regular
Like
Beetles, it was
indented
flat.
towards you?
No,
Oh,
curved
I see,
out.
I see, I
Yeah.
see, I see, I see, I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and you could even take your hand, sit back in the car and extend your hand and not hit the windshield, which with the Super Beetle, you couldn't do that because the windshield was so close up to you.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So some of the scenes that they showed, the kids cramming into the Volkswagen, trying to get them all into the trunk and
Can
the
I comment
car.
on that part?
Go ahead.
So my first memory of Volkswagen Bug, Beetle, whatever, was my across the street neighbor's car. I don't remember what color it was, but it was definitely a Beetle. And it was, we're talking late 70s, and we would, she had 3 kids, but mostly hung out with 2 of them and my brother. So 4 kids in the back seat with our feet, like we were crouching down on the seat. So our feet were up and we were basically like, kneel, you know, and she would go up this road. It was called 42 Extension was what it was called in Connecticut, where I am from. And she would go around these curves and we would play Pancake. And we would just slide into each other. No seatbelts of any kind,
Of
kiddos.
course not.
No seatbelts. My mother in the front seat with her bestie, Valerie. And Valerie was driving, and we would play
Oh.
Pancake. We never played Punch Buggy.
Wow.
I don't remember ever doing that. Maybe we did. I don't remember it, though. But we definitely played Pancake. We couldn't wait to get into that Volkswagen Beetle because it meant we were going to do Pancake. And we would just get squished. It was fantastic. Best game ever.
Wow. Oh, it's so nice to think of your mom being young like that. And
Not giving a
Yeah.
shit if she was killing her kids. Yeah, she didn't care. Neither of them cared. They were laughing and laughing and laughing.
well, but see, back then, it was a big deal to wear seatbelts in the front, but in the back, we thought we were safe.
Correct.
Yeah.
I still believe that. I do wear them more than I don't, but I'm not as anal retentive about it as I am if I'm in a front seat.
Well, let me tell you, that Super Sun Beetle I had, 1974 it came out. That's
Okay.
the year I got it. It came with a seatbelt warning.
I did?
So if somebody sat in the passenger seat and did not have on a seatbelt, it would make a buzzing sound.
Ugh.
And the same thing if you were a driver and you got in and you didn't put the seatbelt on, there would be this buzzing, alarm thing that would go off. So back in 1974, I just started wearing my seatbelt all the time because
Oh,
of that.
wow.
Yeah, yeah. But then there were times when I would be in the car by myself and I'd go to pick up like a big bag of dog food or a big thing of cat litter and put it on the front seat. And I'd have to put the seatbelt on it because the warning
right.
light, the thing would go off. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did not start wearing a seatbelt until it was required by law. And even then, I think I fought it for years. I don't think I started
aren't you
wearing a
the rebel?
seatbelt until like where it just became habit and I just did it every time I got in the car. I would probably say mid 90s.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a long time because I remember when I got into my car accident by myself throwing a cigarette out the window. Yep, that happened. Was not
Oh.
drinking. And
Was it Colorado?
No.
Oh, okay, good, good.
This was when I was 17 and flipped the car over all by myself. Sure did. I was not wearing a seatbelt and I stayed in my seat and ended up with just some scratches. So I was convinced that seatbelts were a hype and they weren't really necessary because I stayed perfectly well in my seat and did not. I walked away
Oh
from a
my
car that
gosh.
had significant damage from being flipped over because I threw my cigarette out the window and it came back at me. And I was doing, patting myself and looked up and said, "Oh shit, there's a tree." And that was that.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, but that's interesting that year 1974,
Uh-huh.
Volkswagen Super Beetle already had the warning things in there.
Yep.
That's interesting. Yeah, I definitely was a late bloomer on the seatbelt thing. But that would have annoyed me. So I would have done it had I, you know what I mean? If I had, because there's no way I'd be listening to that buzzing noise. There's no way.
Yeah, and when people would ride with me, I'd tell them, you got to put your seatbelt on.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
You were an
yeah.
early bloomer on that one.
I was, and you were the rebel.
I was the rebel. Yes.
But one thing about this commercial, when I first saw it, now I like to say that I'm into a lot of the pre-World War II political goings on in Germany. So I've seen a lot of World War II German type shows. So the way it starts out in this commercial, at least in the extended version, I don't know about the shorter one, is it shows like what's supposed to be the first VW coming off the ship into New York Harbor or wherever.
Right.
So I looked it up and it said the first VW came in 1949. So that was right after the war, a few years after the war. And I was just a baby. So I'm just wondering if there was much kickback when these things came over. They were the people's wagon, the people's car is basically what it was called. And I think that was all part of the Nazi thing too, is getting the Autobahns and having the cars that the masses can drive. And so when I saw that, I'm thinking, well, I wonder how people really reacted to this car when it first came over. I know that people always thought it was a death trap because the engine was in the back and there was no protection in the front. And, I don't know.
Was the first one that came over, oh, well, from this commercial, it was the Beetle, but was it really the Beetle that was the first one that came over?
I think so,
From
yeah.
Volkswagen? Gotcha. Wasn't the bus.
Yeah. No. No,
Okay.
it was the Beetle. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then at the end of that commercial, when it shows the new VW bus, I'm thinking, I might have to get a new car one of these days. Maybe it'd be kind of cool to have a VW bus. Well, who knows?
My only concern with that would be, I mean, fun by all means, but the cost for repairs on the German technology. From my understanding, I've never owned a German vehicle, so I couldn't tell you. But that's my understanding, that the cost of being able to repair it, should there be an issue, is pretty high because the parts come from overseas. I don't know. Again, rumor. I have nothing to substantiate that other than what I've been told over the years. So maybe it's completely wrong. It's very possible.
It sounds like something to investigate.
Yes, but that would be fun if you.
Actually, I think I'd still rather have SUV. I like those better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine's only in 1999, so I got still tons of time. That reminds me. I need to get it in for servicing. Thank you for reminding me.
Yes, you do. I love me some Neil Diamond. So brings me right back to childhood. My parents were very into the Neil Diamond.
Yeah.
And I went and saw A Beautiful Noise on Broadway last year. And that was just such a fun time. Great story. I didn't know anything really about Neil Diamond. So I didn't realize his songs were the story of his life. Makes sense. But I never put that together. And the way they just streamed the songs together to tell his story, I thought was very cool. I knew just about every single song that they played.
I would never have pictured you a Neil Diamond fan.
Yeah, I wouldn't not necessarily a fan. I like his music, but I did thoroughly enjoy the play.
Yeah.
So nice. Yeah, that commercial was... I like seeing the nostalgia of it. And of course, with Neil Diamond singing. And it brought me back to Pancake, which I hadn't thought about in a long time. That wonderful game, Pancake. And as a matter of fact, I might reach out to the across the street neighbor friends and say, hey, we talked about you on this episode. And your mom, who has passed away many years ago. Still, it was fun memory.
First stick car I ever drove was a VW. That was my friend Kathy's from Sparta, Michigan. We were in Grand Rapids. She needed to do something, and she said, "Here, take the car, drive it around the block a couple times," because she had to go in and, I don't know, do something.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I go around the block, and then I come up to the stop sign, stop light, and it's up a hill.
Fantastic. It's the best way to learn.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I went through one red light. I mean, I didn't go through it, but there was a green light that came on, and I could not get the car moving. And there was somebody right on my ass.
They'll wait.
And so the light turned red. This was before right-hand turns on red. During the red light, I managed to get myself to where, okay, relax. Okay, now let's try it. And boom, first try.
Mm-hmm.
I made it.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was pretty impressive.
That is impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Good commercial, Auntie Joan. I'm glad you picked this one.
It gave me warm feelings.
In your nut regions?
No.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
In my eyes.
In your eyes, yes.
And the little kid, the little Darth Vader kid, that was another scene
cute.
that really got me. Yeah, the commercial that they had of that way back when.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very cute. Apparently it was a Super Bowl commercial. You like picking the Super Bowl commercials. I like this. We don't watch the Super Bowl, but we like the commercials.
Yeah, I don't watch the Super Bowl. Well, I saw the shorter version of the VW thing on regular TV not too long ago, a couple times. And yeah, the song got to me, and I thought, oh, this is something I want to talk about.
All right. Anything else for our listener today, Auntie Joan?
No, I don't think so.
You good? Call it a wrap?
Yeah, let's wrap her up.
Like a burrito.
Stick a fork in it. We're done.
All right. Well, that wraps it for another wonderful Pickled Watermelon Rinds episode. This is Auntie signing off.
And Auntie Joan saying bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
There she goes. The last word she's got to have.
We thank you for listening. And remember, when life eats away at your core, make pickled watermelon rinds.